Everything's backwards on my camera. Okay, which way we're supposed to go? You guys are going to be cracking up when you see this. Okay, here we go. Kind of. Oh my gosh. I should start over again, but I can't. Okay, there. Did we get it good? Are we good? Whatever. Okay, I'm going to wait for some of you guys to get on before we get started. Again, I didn't tell you guys I was going live. So surprise, here I am. And it is May 7th. Can you believe it? The month is going by too fast already. I can't get over how fast it's going. When I had at the doctor's this morning, when they told me what the date was, I was like, what? What? Okay. I'm going to get to the title, to everything in the title in just a second. I want to wait for a few of you guys to come on. I need to chew a piece of gum, and I'm going to try and not be obnoxious about it, just because all the medication is giving me cotton mouth, and water's not helping. Pedialyte's not helping. Nothing's helping. Hey, Robin. Let me just chew it. So this is the most rude and obnoxious thing to do. I'm so sorry. But all that medicine has me, you guys, I cannot. I don't do well on medicine, number one. Hey, Sheila from Florida. Whoop, whoop. Ernie's here. So what is the weather like in Florida right now? Okay, see, I'll take it out in a minute. Hey, Deborah. I apologize. It's just, I have cotton mouth from all these pills. I don't know how people become drug addicts. How does that happen? I could never do it. I'm super sensitive to medication. And so like if they recommend one pill, I take half a pill or whatever. But Ernie's in charge of the medication right now. And so, hey, JK, nice. Murfreesboro, whoop, whoop. Did you hear about what happened in our area overnight? Very scary. I'll tell you about it while we wait for some more people to come on. But there's a group of young adults, I don't know, late teenagers, young adults going around. Hey, Dina, you need to hear this too. And they've been all around the Rutherford County, and they are breaking into vehicles and looking for weapons and valuables. Last night near us, where I live, there was a group of them, and they had AK-47s. Now, a few of the men who know guns in the comments were saying it looked like an air rifle. I don't care what kind of gun it is. You're going to get yourself shot and killed in these parts. You carry a gun like that and try and break into somebody's car. And I'm glad I park in my garage, but that's scary. And so Rutherford County PD said that they are going around to these neighborhoods and doing this because they're looking for weapons and guns because, you know, we're a open carry or concealed carry place. And so people have guns and, oh, so scary. Hey, Caroline. Caroline, is that my cousin, Caroline? Oh my goodness. If it is, I'm gonna cry. Oh, nice, Mary. Penny, I miss you, cousin. Mwah, 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 mwah. I miss all of you guys so much. Oh, you're gonna make me cry. What, Dina? I didn't know that. You didn't tell me. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, JK. It's scary. Yeah, it's happening everywhere. It's happening everywhere. So scary. Oh, cousin. Oh, okay. I'll go ahead and start now. We got a good amount of people on here. So first thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is the shop button that you guys see pop up on my channel. So like when you first start watching my videos, you'll see a shop button. That's where everything is listed in my videos or in my yard. Like when I do my cleaning videos, I get a lot of questions about my vacuums, you know, anything like that. And then all my gardening projects, like what fertilizer we use, what, you know, like the garden arch, the air conditioning fence, all that stuff. So you just have to click on that. And if you miss that button, because I think it only shows up for like a little bit in the beginning, then like if you know how you click on a video and it shows all the different icons at the bottom, like the thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, whatever. In there's a link to the shop button. So you'll be able to find it. So I know a lot of you guys will ask me things and I'll say, it's in the shop button. And probably you guys are going, what the heck is that? So I do want to let you know that when you click on those, because if I go to Walmart and I put the link in the description of the video, I get paid on all of those links. Not a lot, but every little penny adds up. So like, for instance, if I share the garden arch from Lowe's, they might give me 20% of each sale. And I had this question from this lady, and I finally just deleted her because she was annoying me. She was asking questions that were none of her darn business, first of all. And so she wasn't a subscriber, but I deleted her. But she was so adamant about finding out about this whole commission and how it works and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, lady, this is our job. This is what we do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting paid because she wanted to know if I put a product out there and suddenly, and she bought it, and then like a week later, the price went down. She wanted to know if I would adjust her price. I'm like, lady, that's not how this works. Lowe's compensates me, or Walmart compensates me, or whatever company chooses to compensate YouTubers for the link, just for the link. We're not selling the product. We're just there. That's their way of getting extra advertising. So she was so annoying, you guys. I had to delete her. I was like, you know what? This is none of your business. Because what I said, finally I said to her, because I got so annoyed, I finally said, you know what? I don't really care. I share the link so that you guys have access to the product. And if you want to buy it, you want to buy it. Honestly, I don't even know if I make any money off of that because I don't know where to look on my account. So if I ever find out, I'll let you know. But I just share the link, and it's not for the money. I mean, the money's great, but I mean, it's some of the things it'll say they'll pay you 5% for, you know, or 10% or 7%, or some are like 2.5%, you know, so it's like a little bit of money, but that's their way, that company's way of compensating you for sharing the link with the people who watch your videos. I don't see anything wrong with that. Apparently she did. So anyways, her comment to me was, you should start all your videos like that. I don't care. And I was all, delete and block. Bye. Bye. Okay. First, let me start off with my back update and get that out of the way. Went to the chiropractor for the second visit, got adjusted again. We went over the x-rays in depth because the first day was day before yesterday, and I wasn't in a great place. So we went over the x-rays today. So I have arthritis. I did not find that out. Actually, I went to another scammer of a chiropractor. I want to write a review on that company so bad, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be a good girl and let people figure it out on their own. But let's just say this particular company, chiropractor company, was trying to get me for $7,500 versus the exact same thing with a different chiropractor for $1,500. So, yeah. And it was them taking advantage of my pain level and how much pain I was in. And I kind of knew they were kind of scammers in the beginning because in the paperwork that you fill out is a lot of, they had the repetitive question of how dedicated are you to getting better or getting healthy or whatever it was. And when I started reading that, and I was like, why do they keep asking me this? And then they gave me a sample of what my care would entail, or, you know, what I would have, a sample. And then they gave me, and then they put us in the room with the closer. And the closer was the lady who got you to sign a contract to agree to pay them $7,500, $300 and something each visit. Ridiculous. As opposed to the new place we went to, where they treated me day one. They took all the x-rays. talked about my symptoms, all the things, treated me on day one with an actual adjustment. And then I went today, went over the x-rays, did another adjustment, and then chose my plan, what worked for me. And it was $1,500 for my treatment. And my insurance covers up to 12 visits. And then I pay after that. That's why it was $1,500. But I mean, amazing. And so I was really pissed off because I thought, there I was, when you're in that much pain, and so many of you guys can totally relate to back pain. When you are in that much pain, you are desperate for anything, and I mean, I went to the ER 4 times for my back, and the second to last visit, mind you, it was my 3rd visit to this ER. And the 2 first doctors I went in, they were lovely human beings with great bedside manner, women. I have nothing against men, so don't come at me. But this 3rd one was a young doctor. And he comes walking in and he said, hey, Anna, I'm Dr. So-and-so. And he goes, I don't even remember how he started off, but the tone he used with me, he was barking up the wrong tree with me, but the tone he used was like I was this child. And he said, well, have you thought about going to see a practitioner or a specialist? That was literally how he said that to me. And I whipped my head around at him and I said, do not speak to me like that. Just like that, I said to him. And he like swallowed hard. Oh, he changed his tune so quick, you guys. He said, well, we can't treat you for chronic pain in the ER. I said, I don't have a doctor. I had just explained to them, I don't have a doctor. That is you guys. I'm waiting for you guys to set me up. That's what you guys told me you were going to do. I said yes in the text, and I'm waiting. I don't have the appointment. I'm in pain. You're going to help me. And he calmed down, and he came back in, and he sat next to me, and he told me that he'd suffered from sciatic and had to have surgery, and he knows what I was going through, blah, blah. I think he needed a minute to calm down because he realized via my x-rays they had done that I was literally in pain. So anyways, I was really pissed off about that. Anyways, I went to the ER 4 times. I had a CAT scan done. I had x-rays done 3 times now. I have arthritis in my lower back. My lower disc is almost bone on bone. But they can help correct that with, I'm not going to get into it because I'm not a chiropractor, a doctor. They can help correct that with a routine at the chiropractor, which I think at some age, especially when you are a hard worker like me, I remember my mom in my 20s saying, you better be careful with your back. You're going to regret it one day. Hi, Mom. I regret it. And so I have that happening. So I don't have a bulging disc or anything like that. It's arthritis in your lower back, which is a scary word for degenerative disc disease, which is basically arthritis. So, and I'm not one of those people who will rush out to I only go to usually the doctor if I'm in pain and I need medicine. I'm not one of those people who, I try and look for natural ways to heal. Anyway, so that's the treatment is, we're going to, do this, we're going to go to the chiropractor twice a week and work on it, adjusting and getting that better. Light housework. So I think one of the things I've been doing wrong, because I didn't really know if I could do housework or yard work. I didn't want to further do anything because so many of you guys were like, you might have a rupturing disc, you might have this, and telling me your experience. And so I was like, well, I don't want to do anything that's going to cause this to get worse. So I kind of held off. And so I've been laying down, I've been sitting down a lot, and that hasn't helped any. It has, basically what that has done is, sorry to fix my hair. It's made it worse because, also heating pad. She said, no heating pad. We want to ice this. So I was laying on a heating pad. So it's been, a nightmare, but we have a treatment in place. I actually loaded the dishwasher with a cup and but Ernie's been keeping the house so clean, you guys. He's so nice because, you know, you stress out when you can't do anything. And so he's been doing everything. And so he got the kitchen clean, you know, kitchen's been staying clean. My dryer got repaired yesterday. And I was thinking, you know, that's a God thing right there, that I couldn't do laundry because my dryer was broken and they barely came yesterday to fix my dryer. So I was able to do laundry with his help, you know, the bending down and getting out. I'm being really careful, but the doctor said light housework is okay. She said in gardening, she goes, if you normally garden 1 hour, she said maybe do 10 or 15 minutes, you know, but she goes, you know, still take care of how you're bending and all that kind of stuff. So she's like, oh, and walking, yes, walking is good, very good. So I need to get back into walking again. I haven't been doing that for a while. Yeah, so it's basically all of those things. So that's not, I just wanted to give you guys an update on the back situation. I haven't had any pain medication. What time was it this morning? I don't even remember. And Ernie said, do you want to take a muscle relaxer? I was like, no, I don't want to hate medication. I hate it. And so I don't have that in my system right now. I can manage the pain with Tylenol, really, with like 1,000 milligrams of Tylenol. I don't know, but I'm not in pain really anymore. It's when I'm laying down for, like when I'm asleep, I usually get up at like 2 or 3 in the morning with severe, like a Charlie horse in my calf, which is crazy, but it's all tied into my back. You know, your sciatic runs through those disc things and it's getting, you know, it's getting pinched. So that's what's happening because I'm laying in a position. So I actually can say that I slept better last night before waking up to the pain. I didn't toss and turn, and then wake up. I actually slept and then woke up to the pain and then toss and turn, and then finally said it's time to get out of bed at 3. So I haven't been getting great sleep. I haven't been eating well because of medication. And yeah, so I'm kind of grouchy. So I'm kind of a grouch. So anyways, there's that. Let me just look at the comments. I apologize. I have to look down here. You guys are so sweet. Hey, Kim. Hey, Tammy. Hey, everybody. South Louisiana. Tanya, hey. I am, Mary. I'm feeling better. I think mainly, too, a lot of me feeling better has to do with the fact that I actually have a treatment plan now. You know what I mean? And not knowing what it was kind of worrisome. And you know how us women are. Our brains are. Cape Cod, that's one of my places. I love Cape Cod. I'm so jealous. Kathy Day says, hello from Cape Cod. It's beautiful. If you guys have never been, just beautiful. It is. They do treat you like a drug dealer at the ER, like totally treat you as, which is fine. I mean, I don't care. I'd rather not have the medicine, but yeah, that doctor, I think, I don't know what he was thinking. If, you know, if he thought maybe because it was my 3rd visit, it's like, dude, I'm in pain. Okay. So don't come at me. You're coming after the wrong girl. I was literally ready to pop off at him, but he shut up when I told him to not talk to me like that. So, all right. So anyways, you guys know now where to find everything that I have in my videos in that shop button. And I did just update it this morning. I added, oh yeah, the garden edgers in there, the fencing around, the air conditioning is in there, the arbor's in there, the trellis is in there, the biotone, a link to biotone. You don't need to use my link, but I put, I think, different size bags in there. I may have or may just done one. That's in there. Oh gosh, what else? I think that, well, I can't tell you right now, but I've tried to sit and go through everything on there. I think the only, oh, and also while I'm on the subject, if you go to click on a link and it says unavailable, that's because that item is out of stock. So it'll just expire because it's out of stock. So thank you to you guys for telling me when an item is not there, because then I can go in and find it again or find it somewhere else for you and I can link it. But yeah, thank you, because I don't shop my own shop like buttons. I have all the connections on my emails. So if I need to order something or reorder something, I have it there. But when you guys tell me that you clicked on a link and it's not there, you can't find it, that's why, because it has been out of stock, or it's out of stock. So let's see. Thank you, Iris. It's horrible, just horrible. Hey, Carol from Ontario. Oh, okay. All right. So one of the questions I get a lot of that you guys ask, or some of you guys ask, is what are the products that I'm pouring into the holes? Now, I'm a home and garden channel, so those of you who have been with me forever know that once gardening hits, I turn into a garden channel, and I love being a garden channel. But, I don't have a greenhouse or anything like that for winter. So I'm going to try this year and see how long I can go, because there are things that I want to do, that I want to try that for next year. So I'm going to see how far I can do gardening, but I've got gardening projects all day long. And so I become a garden channel, and that's why I changed my name. You might go back and watch old videos where it's, my name was At Home with Anna, because I was just my home, and I really love to garden. It's been something that I've enjoyed for many, many years. And I thought, maybe my friends on YouTube would want to see that. And every single gardening season, my channel grows like crazy. And I learn so much from so many of you guys that are seasoned gardeners, and I just have fun with it. So just so you know, I do home. If you are somebody who comes to my channel just for the garden videos, I switch into home because we do have projects in this house that we still want to do, but it's gardening season. And when it's gardening season, it's a busy season, and I can't be down like this. That's why Ernie's been doing the work, because I told him I can't just leave everybody hanging. Plus, I need to get it done. It needs to get done. Not for you and me, but it just needs to be, well, for me, it needs to get done. So he's been awesome. He took the week off from work. They told him take as long as you need. But he doesn't want to go back until he knows I'm going to be okay, and I'm going to be just fine. So she also told me, maybe some of you guys would, this is what my chiropractor told me today. She suggested when I get shoes, because I'm going to go get a new pair of walking shoes, to get the shoes so they're wide in the front, so like the wide width of the tenny, so that there's plenty of room around your toes. So your toes lay flat, and your toes lay like normal. Let me see if I can get that. And they're not squished in your front of your shoe like that. She said to make sure to get a walking shoe with a wide front. And she also told me no heating pad, which I think a lot of us just go to naturally. And she said, I get it feels good because it does relax the muscle immediately. And that's what happened the other night. Ernie ran and got me because you guys, I've been in moaning pain. That's how I react to pain. I'm constantly moaning in pain because it was just this imagine the Charlie horse. If you've ever had kids and had those Charlie horses in your legs in the middle of the night, that's exactly what it is. And it's constant all day long, and nothing you do, no matter where you sit, stand, how you sit, stand, lay down, it doesn't matter. Nothing makes it go away. It's horrible. And he ran and got me the heating pad from the living room so I could lay on it in the bed, and it instantly calmed my nerve or muscle pain, whatever was happening, or whatever that's from. And I was able to fall asleep. And if I can get 20 minutes solid of sleep in between more pain, I'm so happy. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining me. It's such a random time during the day. I appreciate you guys. But anyways, so the two things that I use, how did I get on that subject? I was going to tell you guys the two products that I use for planting is Biotone and Good Garden Soil, whichever one we pick up. Because we have really dense clay soil here, we need to amend it. And Lori, you actually told me this, if you are watching, that there was something you guys amended your soil with. I think you're the one who told me. If you were, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I can't remember for the life of me, but we have really dense clay soil here. So over the last couple of years, we've amended it with each gardening season. And it's really nice because the first layer is really nice and amended. But once you get past that first 3 inches, it's clay, dense, hard clay again. So we dig the hole. This is how we've been amending it. And we we dig the hole, we add good garden soil and our biotone, and then we add the plant. So that's how we've been doing it, and it works, but it would have been better if we would have amended the soil for like a whole season before planting in it. But I was so excited to plant in it. Like we did the front garden when we first moved in here. That's what we did. I mean, the builder put in some plants and we kept some, but we needed to amend that soil as well. So we rototilled it and we added a bunch of good garden soil, and that really did the trick in the front garden. But we still run into clay and we still use the same process in the front as well. And it just gets better with every season, So also, update on the tree, crepe myrtle. Ernie planted the new one in last video, and he went out today. He always goes out in the morning when he knows irrigation is turning on, and he went out there this morning to check on everything, make sure everything was working properly again, because he had just added some irrigation spots. And he noticed that too much water was being put in that tree area. So he's got to plug those two emitters up, because that actual is a low spot. If you guys remember me talking about it, it's a low spot. And the water all drains down through there anyways. So it really doesn't need any water, especially right now. We're in a very rainy part of the year. Right now we don't. It'd be more likely to put water on that in the summer, like the hot summer months. But right now he doesn't really need to do that. So he's going to plug those up or cut that part of the hosing off and add more later with the coupling if he needs to. So yeah, so that's an update on that tree. So we actually killed it. So that, and there was actually 3 reasons. That area we've gotten a lot of water. The low spot, it's a low spot, poor drainage soil, and it was getting too much water from the irrigation system. So he laid a bed. He dug the hole. He laid a bed of rock down, and then he planted the tree high. So we're hoping that, and pulling the irrigation off of it will do the trick. So we need to get those roots past, down below where the water sits, where the water table sits from, the clay soil hitting it or holding onto it. And then, I think we'll be okay. I mean, you can still drown a mature tree too, but we don't want to do that. But anyway, so that's what we put in our plants. We just use, and I'm not great at it because I'm a gardening. I don't consider myself a gardening channel, but I do, but I'm not solely gardening. So I need to get better about telling you guys what zone I'm in. So if you guys want to know, I'm zone 7B, Middle Tennessee. And so that's my zone. I need to get better about telling you guys that. You guys can tell that I'm very carefree when it comes to the names of plants, and I'm very dumb when it comes to pronouncing some of the names. They're just so hard, some of them. And so I like to come up with my own names of plants sometimes, but normally I use the real name. It's just those really difficult ones to say for me. And then you guys correct me, which I appreciate, but I'm not going to retain that information. I'm horrible at retaining information. Anyway, so that's what we use in our landscape. And if you guys, while I keep talking, if you guys have any questions that I can answer for you right now about anything, let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to look before before I'm done, so I can get those questions answered. Okay. And the next thing that I think the last week I've gotten the most of this question is where did we buy our edging for our gardens? And we did not buy that as individual pieces. That was by a company called the Curbing Edge here in our area. And they come with a machine, and they pour it on site, and they stamp it and everything. They come to you. We did this in California too, so I know it's probably available in every city and every town of America. It's probably available. If not, then you guys should open one, because it would do really well. They come with this machine. I don't want to say it's a little machine. It's like the size of it's a little machine, but it's not super small. And they mix the concrete in there as they're going, and it comes, like, literally pours out as like they're going, like this perfect curving edge. And so they'll draw the area out with spray paint. The guys will come in and dig the edging where it's going to, stop at the grass so they can get inside the grass. So you pretty much are left with a pretty clean look when they're done. And then you choose the stain color and the stamp. And what's cool about that is you're able to pick something that would match with your home, and so it's really nice that they're able to do that. So I'm sure if you just search in your area, although the name of the company I used is called the Curbing Edge, I'm sure if you looked up in your area, just Googled garden curbing edge, near me, something would come up. I'm telling you, if your husband owns a concrete company, tell him he needs to do this because it's really good. So yeah, it's poured on site. And I will tell you, it's not cheap. It's actually got more expensive than the first time that we did it. It got more expensive the second time, but we just figured, let's do it. And I was almost afraid to do any of that because I knew that I was going to continue to add to the garden. However, Ernie made a good point. He thinks that adding that to every garden that we have, because I told you guys we're extending the garden in the front yard. I've got to get that like approved and everything. So I got to take the time to sit down and email our HOA to get that approved, that portion. But I told Ernie, I want to get that one done because, it's part of the front yard and everywhere else in the front yard is done. But he's like, I don't know if I want that because then we're extending the garden forward towards the house on the arbs, the arb wall. And he's like, no, I don't want to do it up there. He just feels like it'd be too much. And he's probably right back there because, it's not a great big area. So we might leave that just, with a nice straight edge that he does with his garden edger, the one that you step on. And I have that linked in all my videos too. So you guys should go check that out. So yeah, that's what we did. So I'm sure if you checked in your area, you guys would be able to find it. The next big question I got, and so many of you guys were so cool. You guys said that it helped you out to show the video of how we did the garden edging. I was actually considering doing another dedicated video using footage I already have for that. Now that I've seen so much interest in that, and you wouldn't know by the title of the original video that was in there. So I actually was thinking about reusing and re-editing the footage and just creating a video just for DIY irrigation system because it's expensive to get it done. We were getting quotes of $9,000 to $10,000 for our irrigation here. And that included the grass. We don't have our grass on irrigation, but Ernie has a really sweet setup when it is time to water the grass. He has a really sweet setup that he has for sprinklers on our grass. The only areas that have drip irrigation are the gardens, but you could easily use the system to install the same thing, easily if you want to dig all the trenches and all that kind of stuff in your yard. I just would rather have more garden than grass, so we weren't interested in doing that. So that's, otherwise I would have, if we would have had like a really expansive grass area, we probably would have taken the time to do that. But I would rather have more garden than grass. I like green pathways than, yards. That's just me. So, yeah, Sandra, it's really nice. It really is. New Zealand's in the house. Hey, I'm glad you caught alive too. Boxwoods. I want to add more boxwoods. I need to add more boxwoods. Totally. I would love to know from anybody that's watching right now and has boxwoods, which boxwoods would you recommend? And which ones would you say stay away from? Because they're not cheap and I don't want to make a bad decision. And I know Laura has them all throughout her whole garden and I should probably watch her video because she gets a lot more snow than we do. And hers survive winter and she doesn't have to deal with a whole lot of winter damage with hers. So I should probably look at her videos and see. An ice machine? That's awesome. I'm going to check that out. I'm going to write it down right now. Was it for surgery or was it for knee or back? I'll look for it. Yeah. Okay. So that's how we did it. So then I just got a question today about, and I thought, gosh, I don't even think I addressed that in the video. But Ernie, he treats it just like if you had regular or irrigation system in any place that suffers a cold winter. He blew the lines on everything, removed the timers, and just let it sit there for the winter. And then at the end of April is when he hooked it all back up. When we really didn't need to, though. Actually, we could have waited till probably now time to get it all hooked up, but he just waited until it was, we knew there was not any more freezing temps. We were in, the 70s in the daytime, and 50s, 60s at night. And so then he went ahead and he hooked the whole system back up again. So you have to treat it like a regular, it is a real irrigation system. You just didn't pay for the timer on the wall and the trenching, and all that kind of stuff, because you only trench where you want to hide it. And it's, he dug a trench about 4 inches and he put the irrigation tubing in there, and you guys saw where he just like flips the grass right back over it, and you can't even tell. And then that's how he connected all the gardens. He connected the arbs. And then from the arbs, he connected the maple trees. And then from the maple trees, he connected the other side of the patio when we planted the hedging there. And then the initial one was done with the initial garden thing. So gardening video when we did the whole thing. So, but you could totally do a whole sprinkler system. So it is a real irrigation system. It's just not what we're used to seeing. Everything lays on top, and then you just cover it with your mulch, and you're good to go. So we don't have anything buried inside the garden, obviously, but we mulch everything. And we keep an eye on it all year long, because we need to make sure that all the emitters are doing what they need to do. None of them blow. If you've got pressure issues in your area with water pressure, you might have, so you need to see it. So we usually will turn the irrigation on, and we won't mulch. Well, we haven't mulched. It's been a couple weeks now, but we usually won't mulch for at least a few days after that, because we want to make sure that everything is working properly before we cover it up. So then you could still have problems after that too. So there's that. We get so many questions on how our grass and how we keep it so green, because you guys do see my next door neighbor's grass versus my grass. So we have 2 builders in this neighborhood. It was the South, Old South, I think is the name of the company. And then the company that built our house, and both of them decided to use different types of grass, which is so silly. Like, you guys couldn't come together and decide to give everybody green lawns, really? No, they used that grass. What is it? The grass that goes dormant every year. That's what my neighbor has. We have the grass that stays green all year, even through the snowing and everything. It doesn't stay beautiful green, but as soon as the temperatures rise, it gets really green. So Ernie uses the Scott Triple Aston. I said, I need to know what you're using so I can tell everybody. Scott Triple Action Fertilizer. That's what he uses. And I'm guessing he uses directions on the bag on how to apply that. But he applies it, I think he said twice a year. No, yes, twice a year. I think he said twice a year. And that's it. And he's really good about keeping the lawn green. Men and the lawn, it's like their pride and joy. And I take care of the flower beds. Like, I decide what I want. He has some say so. He likes to, but we love to design our gardens together. Like, we have a good time doing that. It's really fun. So for us, a Friday night, date night would be to like go get a cheeseburger and then go to Lowe's. That's like that's for real. Or, Saturday, what do? You go to the garden center. That's what you do when you're our age. You go to the garden center after you've been to Mimi's for breakfast. That's what you do. That's what we do. So, hold on. Let me see. Nobody has any questions? Oh, thank you, Leah. I appreciate that. Love it, love it, love it. They're Sandra, all of the tones, it doesn't really matter what you use. They're all great. I just really feel, because I had Biotone, I had Plant Tone, and I hadn't been to the garden center to get my Biotone. So I was using my plant tone because I started planting early. And I just noticed that when I use biotone, I don't know that plants root better versus with the plant tone, but they definitely, I think, root quicker because I don't know. I don't know why. I just feel like I see a difference. They're both great though. All of the tones are good. They're great. Ernie puts holly tone on the arbs. And you know what? I saw Laura and Aaron, they used something different this year. They didn't use the holly tone. I can't remember which one they used. I'll have to go back and watch the videos, but he fertilized all of the arbs on all of the trees actually with one of the plant tone or one of the tones, and they had always used holly tone before, I think they said, and now they switched to this one for whatever reason. So the toothpick crowd. That's funny, Michelle. I think that's just a great marriage, right? It's just a really great marriage that you can be so comfortable with each other to just say, let's go eat at Mimi's and then just go hang out at the garden centers, you know? It's so much fun. When gardening is so much fun, I know that you guys that garden can totally relate to this. It's the whole design process and like the thrill of the hunt for the plants. And when you go into, it's almost like when you go to the nurseries here, this is how I feel. It's probably not like this at all. But, that's what I'm talking about. Let me write it down really quick so I don't forget. When I go in there, because the growing season is so short here, you guys that live in the South are probably like, what are you talking about? It's long. No. I came from California where I could garden 12 months out of the year. It didn't matter. So I'm not used to garden centers closing down. I'm used to them being open and available from like 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. at night. I could go in and get whatever I wanted, you know, and you just don't have that here. So they have 2 times that they receive trees at the garden centers, like Home Depot and Lowe's, the big box stores. They get 2 shipments. They get their spring shipments, and then they don't get more trees until the fall, which is like the second planting. You guys know that. It's when you plant, you know, like you can plant all the way through that. And so I typically like to get things planted pretty quickly, though, in my garden because I want to see some growth before the end, you know, before I have to shut down the garden. And then I think I got so many great perennials in the garden this year that it's going to be really beautiful next year, you know, to when it wakes up. It's going to be so exciting. I don't think I'm going to have that urge like I did the last couple of years to run out and buy pansies because they were available and they were going to add instant color to my yard. I've done that a couple times now, and you know, I don't feel like I'm going to need to do that next year. I think I hit it just right, but there's also, I think I told you guys about the butterfly bushes. We were at the nursery and I told the lady that my butterfly bushes don't look like that. And I got them here last year. And she said, you know, we were talking about it. And I said, well, he takes them down every year. And she goes, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. Cutting them all the way back. I'm like, okay, well, I missed that memo. So I guess we just leave them and let them do their thing. And then, yeah, right? I mean, I'm guessing. So that way they start off big again. We don't have to go all through that process again. Does that make sense? That's what we've been doing. So we're a bunch of garden dopes over here in the South. I'm sure we're going to still make so many more mistakes. Yes. Yeah, you know what though? Yeah, you're right. I like Lowe's here at least because they carry more proven winners than Home Depot. Home Depot is like the Monrovia, and Lowe's is proven winners. If I can get my hand on anything I want in the proven winner variety, I'm going to buy proven winner. I don't even care if it's $5 more because they mean what they say. Their plants are amazing. And as long as you follow the instructions on the tab, you're planting in the right zone, you're planting in the right, you know, lighting, you're giving them the water they need and all that jazz. You can't go wrong with proven winners. They're like, you may pay more for those plants, but you're literally getting a plant that you can almost do nothing wrong to if you just follow the little tag. Like It's so easy. And knowing your zone too, because I know that even though I'm in zone 7B, I know I could be on that low or that high of the zone. So even knowing that, where you're at in your zone is super important too. I know that in California, we would get things that were not even in our zone at all, that we could never grow. And I didn't realize that. I tried growing hydrangeas. Now you can grow hydrangeas there. But I was always afraid of the hydrangeas that you had to prune and make sure you didn't prune off the blooms for next year and all that kind of stuff. So I stayed away from hydrangeas there because I tried one. I planted it on the west side of my house. So it didn't get sun. It got really bright light and it just struggled over there. So I dug it up and I moved it to the back, which would be the west. I guess it was not the south, the north side of my garden, and the very back under a tree, and it struggled over there. And so then I moved it over to the opposite side of the house, and it died back, and I forgot about it. And the next year, it just grew. And I was talking to one of my neighbors, and she's like, "Oh yeah, they don't like to be bothered. You're supposed to just treat it like you don't love it. Just leave it alone and ignore it." And it grew, but it never got past 2 feet tall, and it never gave me it gave me little baby blooms. I think I just transferred it. I would love to see how it's doing today. We sold that home, so I would love to see that. Hey, from Sweden. Hey, Matilda. Okay, mine are flushing back, but good morning, Darla. Mine are flushing back, but so how far do you cut them back? Ernie cut ours down to the ground almost. One of them. The other one he left about this tall. And so they're doing great. I would like them to start off big and just keep getting bigger. I don't know. Oh my goodness. It is the best. Oh, you're so lucky, Michelle. I keep getting the texts from Proven Winners, and I'm like, oh, should I order? Because if I order for the plants in the front, and I don't know if we are going to get to that in time to plant them, and I'm going to have to keep what I mean. I have to be ready. So, but I did find out that you could possibly ask the nursery, if you have a small neighborhood nursery, if they're going to put an order in for their Proven Winners, if they would mind adding, your stuff to it. So, hey, Mary. Hey, Bobby. It really is. It's the best. Thank you, guys. It is. It's looking really good. I can finally say that. We haven't got to mulch yet. Ernie's been not sleeping. Thank God the guy doesn't have to work right now, because he hasn't been sleeping, and we're just a hot mess over here. So I told him I cannot wait for the day that I get to go sleep and stay asleep for the whole night, because I'm just so tired, and I'm too tired to do much of anything. But like I said, the doctor said you need to keep moving, or the chiropractor said you need to keep moving, just light housework. I'm not going to get crazy like I've done. She goes, and then gardening, if you want to go out and garden for 10 minutes at a time, do 10 minutes. She goes, but if you used to do an hour, go out and do 10 minutes. And yeah, that makes sense. So, and then another question, thank you, Leah. Another question that I got a lot of is, oh my gosh, 2 knee replacements. Oh, I feel sorry for him. One of the questions I've been getting, or not comments I've been getting a lot, somebody told me to pull out the wisteria and take it back. That I was going to regret it. No, I won't, because it's the non-invasive, and I think I touched on that in at least the last 2 videos, that it's the non-invasive. It's an American variety. It's the Chinese varieties that you have to stay away from, because they will overtake your overtake. So, and that is the variety that I had planted at my home, and my very first home we ever bought in California, and it's still there. They're never going to be able to get rid of it. But it did exactly what I planned it for, because Ernie built me a porch. We had our very first house had just two steps and then a landing, and then you walked in the house because it was a home built in the 1940s. And so he built me a porch, an actual porch, with where we could put chairs and everything. And then he did the lattice arches for me on it. And I planted 2 wisteria, and I think 1 on either side of the walkway going up to the front porch, and they just grew over. I want to do that here too. I want to plant a wisteria on the front porch here. We have to figure that out though. No, there's not such a thing as lighthouse work. But I'm going to tell you what, it's better than sitting. It's not it. When you're like me, a person who's always moving, I'm always doing something, because in my opinion, there's always something to be cleaned or organized, and I get bored. So if I'm bored, why not go clean out the cabinet underneath my sink in the bathroom, or rearrange the pantry, or clean the fridge out. Ernie even did that, you guys. He cleaned out the fridge and straightened out my fridge and everything for the trash. So nice. Hey, Carolyn. Yeah, not all hydrangeas grow on that's why I have Pinnacle and the strawberry shortcake. Those bloom on Newwood, so you don't have to worry about that. That's why I chose that variety, because I don't have to worry. Now I have the big leaf, and we're just gonna see how that one goes. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look up a video on how to prune that. He really is. He's really great. He's hey, Leonard. Yep, he is Mary. He really is. He's been a great help. Are you done with your meeting? He was in a meeting upstairs. He's been a great help. Oh, Matilda, you know what? I get a lot of inspiration from Garden Answer. And I think her and I, the way she plants is pretty much, she likes formality. And she likes, the way she plants, I get a lot from that. And then I watch a lot of gardening tours, like good garden tours. And if I see that the garden tours, like, there are some beautiful, oh my gosh, the way people create their yards, it's amazing. And that's how I want my garden to feel. I don't want my garden to just be beautiful. I want my garden to feel some sort of way, like when you walk into it. And, you get a lot of people on YouTube that will come to your channel and say, why do you call it a garden if it has grass? Why do you call it a garden if you're not growing fruits and vegetables? People are so annoying, you guys. But I want my garden to have some sort of feel. Like, I want it to feel at some point, I don't know how long this will take, to where you feel like you're in a room, like you're in a really beautiful, surrounded by color, and and I can only go so far with that, because I'm working at a postage stamp property. So, but if you watch Garden Answer and you go back, she's been on YouTube for 10 years. If you go back to their first house they owned, which was like in the 1800s, it was built. And then it had addition, and then they sold that, and they moved into the condo. If you go to her condo videos and watch those, she had it's basically a duplex, 2 houses put together. They bought the whole thing. They lived in one side, rented out the other. But the garden that she created on that property, from walking in the gate on the side of the house to the backyard, will blow your mind. It will blow your freaking mind. And once you start looking at that kind of stuff, you can start to envision it in your own garden, and you just have to create it and figure out where to create it. And it doesn't go without making mistakes or changes, for sure. But yeah, it's really good gardening videos that I love to watch. The tour videos. There's a couple that I watched. What is the name of his channel? I got to get the name of his channel, and I'll let you guys know on the community tab. I'll find it. But he does these garden tours with truly exceptional gardens. And if you want to see one, and I'm going to say it, better better than Laura's property. This woman's property is magical. I mean, it's magical. And she takes care of the entire thing on her own, with the exception of the lawn. She doesn't do the lawn and like heavy tree trimming and that kind of stuff. Other than that, she takes care of that entire property. I'm going to list that one. And the tour is just, it's magnificent. And so I think it's just not being afraid of creating something. Like, you know, I was really adamant about having a green wall as opposed to fence in my yard. I was super adamant about that. And, you know, and you'd be surprised how many people were like, you need privacy. Don't come to my channel and tell me what I need. I do not. I'm good. I wanted a green wall, and eventually it will be. It'll be a solid green wall. And if we lose one of those trees, we'll have to replace it and wait for that one to catch up, you know, but it's really just going with the flow. And then, you know, when I did the arbor, I was like, oh, I don't know, should we do the arbor, you know? And we did the arbor and the arbor entry, and that just added a whole. And once you start doing that kind of stuff, it just really expands, you know. And then when we did the curbing back there, it was off season when we did it, and I thought I was going to get a better price because I waited, and I didn't. But the way we connected the garden, you know, and changed all of that, just really changed it, and really adds to, once you start making rooms, you know, and little, you know, things in your garden, you're able to really envision putting together like a trio of plants or creating a little, it's fun. It's just really, and they're just plants. They can be moved. You know, it's kind of like, it's just paint. It could be changed. It's just plants. They can be moved. So yeah. Oh, Dina, you're going to have to show me. You need to come over and show me. It's 2:57. Do you want to come over and sit on the porch? Show me the pictures. Oh yeah, Tanya, she's amazing. And you know, I love her. She's just so real. Like, I want to see the prom pictures, and I need to hear about prom. Sorry guys, I'm looking at just making sure I'm not missing any questions. Oh, you're working. Darn work. All right. Okay, guys. If you guys don't have any more questions, that is going to be it. We went over where the products are listed. Products we use when planting are about our garden edging, our irrigation, and what Ernie uses on the lawn to get it so green, and the type of wisteria that we have. I like Jenny. Yeah, isn't that brave though? That just blows my mind. She always got that German Shepherd with her. I do. She's sweet. They did a video together. Did you know that? When Gardening with Creekside was getting their or no, or maybe it was vice versa. One of them was getting a high tunnel, and well, maybe it was Jenny and her husband went to Garden Answer, or one of the two. Either way, it was really cool to see them in a video together. Because I always wondered, I'm like, do these guys talk, or, you know, what is it? But they're, yeah. All right. Are they, Michelle? That's awesome. So cool. She's so sweet. All right. Since you guys have no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and sign off and go have some coffee and get up out of the seat for a minute. And we will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Bye.